ancient heart of Japan, where mist cloaked the sacred mountains and the wind carried whispers of divine wrath, there dwelled beings of immense power and mystery. They were the Tengu, red-faced, long-nosed, winged spirits who ruled the wild places with an authority both celestial and earthly. To the Japanese, from the dawn of their history to the present day, the Tengu were guardians of the forests, teachers of warriors, and judges of the arrogant, their presence evoking awe and terror in equal measure. Yet their story is not merely one of Japan, but of a far older lineage, one that stretches across oceans to the Holy Land of Judea, where the ancient Israelites walked. The Tengu, it is said, carried the sacred wisdom of Abraham's people to the mountains of Yamato, their fearsome forms a testament to a divine covenant, forged in a distant past. In the 8th century BCE, after the fall of the northern kingdom of Israel to the Assyrians, 10 of the 12 tribes were scattered, their fate a mystery to the chroniclers of Jerusalem. These lost tribes, bearing the sacred knowledge of the Torah and the rituals of their covenant, journeyed eastward, their path guided by divine signs. Across the Silk Road, through the mountains of Persia and the steppes of Central Asia, a remnant of these tribes reached the shores of Japan, then a land of scattered tribes and primal spirits. These Israelites, it is said, brought with them a reverence for sacred mountains, a practice rooted in their encounters with Yahweh on Mount Sinai and Mount Moriah. In Japan, they found a land where mountains were already divine, home to kami, spirits of nature worshipped by the native people. The Israelites' rituals, including the wearing of tefillin, small boxes containing Torah verses bound to the forehead and arm, and the carrying of the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred chest adorned with winged cherubim, found echoes in the practices of Japan's early inhabitants. Over centuries, as the Israelites intermingled with the Yamato people, their traditions merged with Shinto, giving rise to a new kind of spirit, the Tengu, or heavenly dog, named for their celestial origins and their fierce protective nature. By 637 CE, when a fiery comet blazed across the Japanese sky, recorded in the Nihon Shoki as a heavenly dog, the Tengu were already taking shape as divine beings. To the Yamato court, this celestial event was a sign of divine judgment, a reminder of the Israelites' ancient covenant with a God who spoke through fire and storm. The Tengu were seen as the descendants of this covenant, their forms blending the winged cherubim of the ark with the avian spirits of Japan's mountains. Their long noses, a feature unknown among the native Japanese, were said to reflect the Semitic features of their Israelite ancestors, their red faces, a symbol of divine fire. The people trembled at the sight of strange lights on mountain peaks, believing them to be the Tengu, guardians of a sacred law brought from Judea. To anger them was to invite the wrath of a god whose judgment spared no one, a fear that rooted itself deep in the Japanese soul. As Buddhism spread across Japan in the Heian period, 794 to 1185, the Tengu's role as heirs of Israelite tradition clashed with the new faith. The Buddhist monks seeking to establish their temples on sacred mountains saw the Tengu as rivals, spirits who guarded their domains with jealous ferocity. The Tengu's rituals, rooted in the Israelite practices of their ancestors, included the passing down of sacred scrolls called Torah no Maki, a name strikingly similar to the Torah, the holy text of the Jews. These scrolls, carried by the Tengu and their human allies, contained esoteric knowledge of the divine, a legacy of the lost tribes preserved in Japan's mountains. The Heian court, with its refined culture and fear of the supernatural, viewed the Tengu as both divine and demonic. Stories spread of monks who ventured into the mountains, seeking enlightenment, only to encounter Tengu disguised as holy men. These spirits would tempt the monks with false teachings, drawing them away from Buddhist doctrine toward the ancient wisdom of Judea. One tale told of a priest on Mount Hiei who met a Tengu in the form of a radiant sage offering secrets of the Torah no Maki. When the priest accepted, he was found days later wandering the forest in a daze, his mind shattered by visions of a burning mountain and a voice speaking in an unknown tongue. The people believed the Tengu were punishing those who strayed from their sacred covenant, a fear that kept villagers from venturing too far into the wild. The Tengu's Israelite heritage made them all the more terrifying. Their rituals, such as the wearing of tokin, small black boxes tied to the forehead, identical to the Jewish tefillin, marked them as bearers of a foreign divinity. The omakoshi, portable shrines carried in Shinto festivals, mirrored the Ark of the Covenant, their winged decorations evoking the cherubim that guarded Yahweh's presence. At Suataisha Shrine, the Ontosai festival reenacted a ritual sacrifice akin to Abraham's binding of Isaac, with a boy tied to a pillar before being released, a clear echo of Judean tradition. The name of Mount Moriah, near Suataisha, further tied the Tengu to the biblical Mount Moriah, where Abraham's faith was tested. To the Japanese, the Tengu were not merely spirits but enforcers of an ancient law, their wrath a reminder of a god who demanded obedience. By the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, the Tengu found allies in the Yamabushi, the mountain ascetics of Shugendo, a religion blending Shinto, Buddhism, and the Israelite traditions carried by the Tengu. The Yamabushi revered the Tengu as teachers, believing them to be the keepers of divine wisdom brought from Judea. The Yamabushi's attire, including the tokin and robes adorned with pom-poms symbolizing purity, mirrored the Tengu's appearance, a testament to their shared heritage. The Torah no Maki scrolls passed from Tengu to Yamabushi were said to contain the secrets of martial arts, spiritual discipline, and the laws of the divine, a direct inheritance from the Torah. The most famous tale of this era was that of Minamoto no Yoshitsune, the young samurai trained by Sōjōbō, the king of the Tengu, on Mount Kurama. Sōjōbō, with his crimson face and long nose, was a Dai Tengu, great Tengu, a direct descendant of the Israelite cherubim. He taught Yoshitsune not only swordsmanship, but also the spiritual discipline of the Torah no Maki, drawing on the wisdom of the lost tribes. Under Sōjōbō's guidance, Yoshitsune became a warrior of unparalleled skill, his victories against the Taira clan seen as proof of the Tengu's divine favor. Yet the fear of the Tengu remained. To seek their teachings was to risk divine judgment, for they demanded humility and obedience to their ancient covenant. A Yamabushi who approached the Tengu with pride might be struck mad or abandoned in the wilderness, their fate a warning to others. The Yamabushi themselves became figures of fear, their resemblance to the Tengu blurring the line between human and spirit. Villagers whispered that the Yamabushi were the Tengu's earthly agents, carrying out their will in the mortal world. The token on their foreheads, identical to the Israelite tefillin, marked them as bearers of a divine law that transcended Japan's borders. The omakoshi they carried in festivals, adorned with wings like the Ark of the Covenant, were said to house the Tengu's spirit, their power so great that a single misstep could unleash divine wrath. The fear of the Tengu was thus twofold: fear of their supernatural power and fear of their connection to a god whose origins lay in a distant, holy land. During the Sengoku period, 1467 to 1603, a time of war and upheaval, the Tengu's fearsome reputation reached its zenith. The Dai Tengu, with their human-like forms, long noses, and feather fans that could summon storms, were seen as divine judges, their Israelite heritage making them enforcers of a sacred law. The lesser Kotengu, Crow Tengu, with their bird-like features, served as their messengers, patrolling the mountains and punishing those who defiled their sacred domains. The Tengu's connection to Judea was evident in their rituals. The Torah no Maki scrolls, the tokin, and the omakoshi all pointed to their origins as heirs of the lost tribes. The fear of the Tengu was palpable. Woodsmen told of forests where the air grew heavy with the presence of these spirits, their red eyes glowing in the darkness. A hunter who killed an animal without offering rice cakes or fish to the Tengu might find his home consumed by fire or his family struck with illness. One story from the 15th century spoke of a samurai who, in his arrogance, mocked the Tengu's sacred mountain. The next day, he was found tied to the top of a cedar tree, his body battered by an unseen storm, his mind broken by visions of a burning altar and a voice speaking in Hebrew. Such tales reinforced the belief that the Tengu were not mere spirits but divine enforcers, their power rooted in the covenant of their Israelite ancestors. villagers developed elaborate rituals to appease the Tengu, offering kuhin mochi and okoze fish to ensure safe passage through their domains. These offerings were made with trembling hands, for the Tengu could see into the hearts of men. A dishonest offering or a lack of respect could provoke their wrath, leading to abductions, madness, or death. The phrase Tengu ni naru, to become a Tengu, became a warning against pride, for those consumed by arrogance were said to join the Tengu in their divine judgment. The fear of the Tengu was not only of their physical power, but of their moral authority, a legacy of the Israelite law that demanded righteousness. In the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, as Japan found peace under the Tokugawa shogunate, the Tengu's image softened, though their fearsome aura remained. They became protectors of sacred forests and Shinto shrines, their Israelite heritage evident in the rituals performed at temples like Yakuo-in on Mount Takao and Daiyuzan Saijoji. The Tengu Mai, a ritual dance with Tengu masks, was performed to honor these spirits, the masks' long noses and fierce expressions, a nod to their Semitic origins. The omikoshi carried in these festivals, adorned with wings, were seen as vessels for the Tengu's divine presence, their power a direct link to the Ark of the Covenant. Yet the fear of the Tengu persisted. Stories told of travelers led astray by Tengu disguised as monks or women, only to vanish into the mist. The Yamabushi, now revered as holy men, were still feared as the Tengu's earthly counterparts, their tokin and Torah no Maki scrolls marking them as bearers of a divine law. Villagers believed that the Tengu could possess the unwary, filling their minds with visions of ancient Judea, burning altars, winged cherubim, and a god who spoke in thunder. To encounter a Tengu was to face a test of faith, a judgment rooted in the covenant of the lost tribes. The Israelite connection was celebrated in certain Shinto rituals. At Suwa Taisha, the Ontosai festival continued to reenact the sacrifice of Abraham and Isaac, with Mount Moriah serving as a sacred counterpart to its Judean namesake. The Torah no Maki scrolls passed down by the Tengu were said to contain the laws of Yahweh, adapted to Japan's mountains. These rituals, while integrated into Shinto, kept the Tengu's foreign origins alive, making them figures of both reverence and dread. To the Japanese, the Tengu were not merely guardians but emissaries of a god whose power transcended time and place. The Meiji Restoration, 1868 to 1912, brought modernization to Japan, but the Tengu remained a potent symbol of the nation's spiritual heritage. Their Israelite roots were evident in the continued use of tokin, omikoshi, and Torah no Maki scrolls, which scholars recognized as echoes of Jewish practices. Temples like Mount Takao and Mount Kurama became pilgrimage sites, where visitors sought the Tengu's blessings while offering prayers to avoid their wrath. The Tengu Mai dance, with its winged masks, was performed to honor the spirit's divine lineage, a reminder of their connection to the cherubim of Judea. In rural areas, the fear of the Tengu endured. Villagers told of children abducted by Kotengu returned with tales of a fiery mountain and a voice speaking in an ancient tongue. The Tengu's ability to punish pride and disrespect kept them a terrifying presence, their red faces and long noses a reminder of their foreign origins. The phrase Tengu ni naru remained a warning, a call to humility before the divine law of the lost tribes. In modern pop culture, the Tengu appear in anime, manga, and video games, their long noses and winged forms instantly recognizable. Yet their fearsome aura persists, their powers a nod to their ancient roots as celestial dogs and Israelite spirits. The connection to Judea, now widely accepted, is celebrated in festivals and rituals, with the omikoshi and ontosai serving as living links to the Ark of the Covenant and the sacrifice of Abraham. The Tengu, once feared as demons, are now revered as guardians of a divine heritage, their story a bridge between Japan and the Holy Land of Judea. The Tengu stand as eternal sentinels of Japan's mountains, their red faces and winged forms a testament to their origins among the lost tribes of Israel. Their rituals, the tokin, the Tora no Maki, the omakoshi carry the wisdom of Judea, adapted to the sacred peaks of Yamato. The fear they inspire is not merely of their supernatural power, but of their divine authority, a legacy of a covenant forged in fire and stone. To walk in their domain is to tread on holy ground, where every offering is a prayer, every step a test, and every moment a reminder of the Tengu's eternal judgment. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, uncover the truth and question the past.